From gravity in space to bone health.
Here are 15 common science myths many people still believe. Chameleons change color to blend in with the surroundings. All those changing colors, unlike what many people believe, usually don't have anything to do with blending into their surroundings. Although it depends on the specific species of chameleon, they're usually pretty well camouflaged to begin with. If they need to visually blend to the background, they would just have to stick to their normal coloration. So, contrary to popular belief, chameleons' color changing is typically triggered by physical, physiological and emotional changes. If they feel afraid, for example, if they try to impress a mate, or if they want to pick a fight, they will change colors. Light and temperature also play a part in what color the chameleon will change to.
There is no gravity in space. Most people accept as true that because astronauts can float around freely in space that there isn't any gravity. This belief shows a serious misunderstanding of how gravity works. Gravity doesn't stop working once you get outside of Earth's atmosphere, which explains the Earth's orbit around the Sun. There's a lot of gravity in space, and this is exactly how astronauts drift around outside the ship. They get fixed in the Earth's gravity and begin orbiting around it. In every area of space, objects will be caught up in the bigger object's gravitational pull, even if it's very weakly.
Body heat dissipates mainly through the head. You might think that you will lose most of your body heat through your head because there's a lot of blood circulation going on in your brain, or maybe because there's not much fat between your scalp and your skull. This is what we've all heard, and that's why you need to wear a hat in the winter, or you'll be sick. But the truth is, you lose just as much heat per square inch through the rest of your body as you do through your head.
Killing a virus. No, you can't kill a virus. You can deactivate it, destroy it, but you can't kill it. The reason? It wasn't alive to begin with. One of the requirements for life is its ability to reproduce, and the virus is out of luck on that score. It survives only by carjacking a cell first.
Milk is good for your bones. The argument is that the calcium in milk is necessary for bone health. The truth is that the bioavailability of calcium in milk isn't even that high, and that other factors like exercise and protein or vitamin D intake are far more important for bone health.
Lightning never strikes twice. We've heard the expression lightning never strikes twice. Most people aren't familiar with the inner mechanics of lightning strikes. The expression indicates the fact that certain things in life only happen once, much like how lightning will never strike the same spot twice. The truth is, lightning can and do hit the same spot numerous times. Lightning is usually concerned with striking the highest point in any given storm. Most major skyscrapers, for example, get hit by lightning several times a year.
Mother birds will abandon babies if you touch them. When it comes to smell, birds just don't smell too well, although a few species are an exception. But the chances are greater that the baby bird won't suffer if you move it away from the middle of the road than if you were to leave it there. Its parents have already invested too much time and energy in raising it to just abandon it at the first chance of doing so, even if the baby bird should smell of human.
Pennies dropped from skyscrapers are deadly. The urban legend is that they installed many fences to stop people from throwing pennies off the Empire State Building, because if someone dropped pennies from that height, they could reach lethal speeds and kill people on the street. Science is disproving this one too. Pennies aren't aerodynamically designed, so they can't pick up that much extra speed when falling through the air, at least at that height. While dropping a penny from the top would probably really hurt, it's not lethal, and definitely wouldn't kill them on the impact.
People thought the world was flat before Columbus. The idea that Columbus was the one who made us realize that the earth is round is false. People have known since the age of the Greeks that they lived on a big globe. They figured this out looking at things like the way ships sailed over the horizon. Somewhere in the 1800s, a myth started saying that the people of the Dark Ages thought the earth to be flat.
The seasons is caused by the distance from the sun. Most of us assume that when the northern hemisphere leans towards the sun, it's closer and it's warmer. When it leans away, it's further away, so it's colder. That's not really true. If the Earth tilts a little bit this or that way, it doesn't really matter, since it's millions of miles away from the Sun. It's the angle at which the Sun hits, low and oblique versus straight on and hot, that makes the difference.
Different parts of your tongue detect different tastes. Many people think that different parts of the tongue are fine-tuned to detect different tastes. The tip of the tongue is supposedly where you can taste the sweet flavors, and the sides where you taste the salty. Bitter is said to be tasted in the back of your tongue, and in between there is the sour zone. This so-called fact was believed to be true for a very long time. However, we've recently found that the theory of those specific taste zones was simply inaccurate. It turns out people can sense different tastes all over their tongues, including the fifth basic taste, umami.
The dark side of the moon. Some people have been of the belief that one side of the moon was always dark, hence the phrase dark side of the moon. The myth is that there's a fixed area on the moon that is in permanent darkness, which simply isn't true. There is at any given moment a spot on the moon that isn't being hit by sunlight, but that spot is constantly moving and rotating. The side that we are familiar with is dark just as frequently. However you look at it, the far side of the moon hasn't been as mysterious since the first images were sent back by the USSR's Space Luna 3 mission in 1959. Every side is at some time pointed at the sun.
Deoxygenated blood is blue. Everybody has veins showing somewhere on their bodies, and those veins are blue. So it might seem reasonable to believe that the blood in those veins are indeed blue. But once the blood has circulated through your body, it has turned dark red, not blue. Basically, the veins are blue due to light effects, not due to the actual color of your blood.
Brain cells can't regenerate. This myth is tremendously common since it's essentially what the scientific community believed until the late 1990s. Many of us has learned that the brain cells don't regenerate. We now know the brain cells have more regenerative capabilities than we previously thought. This very important understanding will lead into new strategies for treatment of injury, neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, and other psychiatric disorders.
Humans have 5 senses. There are hearing, seeing, feeling, smelling, and tasting. We all know that. But if you believe these are the only 5 ways you can detect information about your environment or alterations to your person, you are wrong. There is also nociception, the ability to sense pain. Another one is proprioception, which basically is what lets 2 parts of your body connect without visual confirmation. According to some people, hunger and thirst, as well as feelings of hot and cold, is part of this list of our senses. The total number of senses is not yet agreed upon. Itch is apparently independent from both touch and pain.
And that's it for this countdown.